Welcome to Healthy Conversations, sharing the knowledge, experience, stories, and the wisdom of herbalists and other natural healers, with your host, Stephen Horn. Today's guest, Thomas Easley. Hi, and welcome to Healthy Conversations. My guest again today is Thomas Easley, my good friend, co-author of our book, Modern Herbal Dispensatory, and the director of the Eclectic School of Herbal Medicine, and a very fine clinician. And I want to tell you about an experience I had with Thomas. It's going to lead into our discussion today. I was down at his place, and he said, I want you to try this tincture. And he gave me some drops of this mimosa flower tincture. And because I am used to tasting stuff and noticing how it affects my body, I felt this thing just go went down into my chest, and I felt my heart just opening up and expanding. And I go, wow, that's really nice. I felt very light and everything. And I think this illustrates, though, something that a lot of people don't do who take herbs in capsules or tablets or whatever. They don't get the sensory experience of the herb. So Thomas, why don't you talk a little about why it's a really good idea to take herbs out of the capsules and so forth and actually taste them and get to know them with our senses?
Yeah. So thanks for having me. This is a wonderful topic to talk about. Our sensory system is intimately tied to our experience of reality, and there's some researchers that postulate that it is our ability to predict what's going to happen and receive sensory feedback about that actually creates our reality, that creates our consciousness, if you will. And so I think one of the most powerful things that herbs do is shift our consciousness. And everybody has experienced this. Everybody has probably consumed too much caffeine and felt their consciousness constricting and focusing and getting really fast. And probably most people have experienced the general uplifting effects of chocolate after.
I thought you were going to talk about chocolate because it does generally uplifting effect of chocolate, mood elevator.
Yeah. So we have multiple examples from mainstream life showing that plants can shift our perception and awareness. And I think one of the strengths of traditional systems of medicine is that they documented exactly how these shifts occur and which people might benefit the most from these shifts for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
And the traditional administration of herbs was through teas, powders, and eventually tinctures and extracts, but they were all experienced first through smell or taste. And
Right.
what we know about the predictive algorithm of our brain is that it responds to sensory stimuli, especially novel sensory stimuli, things that we might not expect can make our brain pay attention to the present moment and update its programming to become a more realistic model of reality. And when we swallow herbs that would otherwise elicit a strong taste reaction or strong smell reaction, we're bypassing this primal mechanism by which plants can shift how we experience our world.
Yeah.
And so
I read in a book long ago that herbs have two effects, a primary effect and a secondary effect. And the primary effect is what happens when you taste it, smell it, and just initially ingest it. Like, for example, let's take just something, sugar.
Mm-hmm.
You put something sweet in your mouth, there is an immediate reaction,
Right.
a bit of a dopamine rush that you get from the taste of sugar. And it's not happening because the sugar has gone into your stomach. It's been absorbed into your bloodstream and your blood sugar level is coming up.
Right.
It's a sensory reaction. Same thing with cayenne pepper. You put a little cayenne pepper on your tongue and you immediately feel this flowing of energy up into your head and out. There's this kind of warming sensation to it. But if you swallow it in a capsule, you might get a little bit of that warmth in your stomach, but you do not get that same reaction.
Right.
So
Right.
there's a primary effect of herbs that comes with the body responding to it through the nervous system that is part of the experience of actually tasting the remedy.
And to go one step farther, I would point out that our taste buds are chemoreceptors, and we have those throughout our digestive tract. But in the mouth and digestive tract, the chemical binding and electrical signals that those create are carried to the brain through the parasympathetic nervous system. And so sensory sensation has this inherent aspect of relaxation that I think a lot of people might overlook. The experience, the taste, the smell, all activate this branch of our nervous system that we honestly could probably all use it being activated more regularly. I think that the taste also can create some space and a pause that we can use to reflect on what we're feeling, to do a little bit of mindfulness, a little interoception, and the ritual of tasting it has an effect, whether it's through conditioning or not. All of these things kind of go in together to create responses and effects that are just above and beyond what you can get if you simply swallow capsules.
And of course, that's also with the sense of smell, which is also detecting a chemical detecting system that directly impacts the limbic system in the brain, which is hooked into your emotions and your autonomic nerve responses, which is why you can get an immediate sense of disgust or, oh, wow, from a smell. And I would say that even the texture, there's a texture or touch sensation to anything we ingest as well, a mouthfeel. And you know, food manufacturers know that because they not only spend time trying to make something taste good and smell good, but they want it to have a good mouthfeel. Right. Because there's something in that sense also that's interacting with our nervous system. Yeah. Whether something's crunchy or slimy or etc.
Now, I guess also because I don't like dichotomous thinking, I should point out that sometimes the sensory effects of herbs are not necessarily what you're going for. And maybe you are shooting for non-sensory physiological effects. It's a roundabout way of setting up the statement, I'm totally fine if you want to take your Andrographis in capsules. Right?
Right.
There are some very strong tasting herbs that are not pleasant, and that unpleasantness can turn people off from taking them.
I took some in tablets, and I could tell you I could taste enough of the bitterness from the tablet to know that I would not want to drink that one as a tea.
Even encapsulated Andrographis, there's got to be some dust in the process. Like I had even capsules that I'm like, that's still got that distinct Andrographis taste. And if I'm looking for a bitter, cooling, draining sensation, totally taste your bitter. If you're looking to work on a GI infection, maybe taste it every now and then, but also it's okay if you do it encapsulated. There's a place for both, but I don't think that most herbs or all herbs should be done strictly through capsules.
Yeah, I mean, you could take the capsules, but I think it's a good idea to taste remedies because there's something instinctual that it gives you a more instinctive feel for that remedy, like when it's appropriate to use it and when it's not. And I think too many people are basing their choices in what they're taking solely off of book head knowledge,
Right.
and not paying attention to how something makes them feel. I mean, one of the things I recently had an interview with KB Colson. I said one of the things that I always find really weird is I'll be talking to someone and they've given me a list of remedies they're taking, and they've got like a couple of things here. I'll say, "How long have you been taking that one?" 6 months. Well, have you noticed any difference with it? No. Then why are you taking it? Because I read it was good for me.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to I think it's important to engage with your body, pay attention to how things are making you feel, and tasting and smelling and touching herbs helps you get a sense of how it's affecting you. You know?
Yeah. We had a section in the Modern Herbal Dispensatory that I've gotten so many positive comments and feedbacks on. When we talked about using encapsulated herbs, we introduced to mainstream herbalism this idea of dusting your capsules, of opening a few capsules, dumping them into your bottle and shaking it around so that your capsules also have some of the taste. And I think that's a really great option, and something that I'm happy that we got out there, because it seems like it's caught on and a lot of people have started to do that.
Yeah. Well, I for one, you have done this, and I'm sure I've done it too, where we teach classes and we have people taste things. When I do an herb walk, I'm handing people pieces of plants, say, chew on this, take this, try this, because I find that it helps them understand herbs far better than they ever understood them when they were just reading books about them. And so I really think it's very important to engage with your materials, with the plants themselves, if possible. Now, if we're talking about an herb that's coming from Africa or Southeast Asia, we can't engage with the plant, but we can still engage with the plant material and get a feel for that.
I use a semi standardized or formalized process of blind tea tastings as a big part of teaching Materia Medica. And for years, I've sat with students. I've prepared an herbal tea. They don't know what it is, and I walk around and pour it in a mug, and we all sit and we smell and we reflect and write down what we think, and then we take a little sip and we write down like what we think. And I have 1, 2, and 3 hour blind tastings, depending on the plan and the class. And it's amazing. You can have a 2-hour class of nothing but silence and sipping on and contemplating what you're feeling. And then you compare notes afterwards, and about 90% of students experience the same basic actions and sensations.
And that shows you that you're not dealing with something that is fluffy, out in the clouds. It's what we call common sense. Yep. See, what people don't realize is common sense comes from the idea of common sensory experience, right? If we don't engage our senses in our own observation of things, we're never going to have common sense.
So I think that this is an important principle, and as herbalism and consumerism come together more and more, it's important that herbalists speak out about these like fundamental aspects of herbalism: taste, sensation, common sensations, and this empirical form of evidence should strongly inform herbal practices.
Yep. Thomas, thank you for joining me today and talking about this subject. I'm going to link to Thomas's school and information in the link below so that you can get a hold of Thomas. And of course, my link to my website is also there. So if you'd like to learn more, you can get in touch with us that way and look at some of our materials. And also check out our book, Modern Herbal Dispensatory, on Amazon. We appreciate you being here today, Thomas. Thanks again.
Thanks, Stephen. Thank you.
Hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to catch future episodes of Healthy Conversations. Help us educate others by sharing this video, and please feel free to share your own thoughts, comments, and questions below. To learn more, check out the links below.